Remarkable Wrestling Podcast. What the world is watching. And hello, everybody. It's time for another edition of the Remarkable Wrestling Podcast. And if you're watching, say hello. Eventually, I do want to film a really cool intro for the Remarkable Wrestling Podcast on 1980 style, where it's like, hey, we're going to be talking about all the collectibles and all the memories and all the stuff that makes us professional wrestling fans. This is such good shit. Look at that little pipsqueak. Look at that from the WWE fan club. Ultimate Warrior wristbands. He was like, you like wrestling? I was like, hell yeah, I do. It was Lumberjack Jim, my made-up wrestler. Think Hacksaw Jim Duggan, just Lumberjack.
Did you use a backbreaker in a fight at Grand Oaks?
He runs a promotion during his lunch break. That what cracks me up. All right, hello everybody, and welcome to the Remarkable Wrestling Podcast. I am Boom Brandon Oliver, and I want to thank everyone for joining us here on a Sunday afternoon. And we got quite a good show coming up. I'm excited about this one. So, as you know, the Remarkable Wrestling Podcast is all about collectibles and all the memories and the stuff that make us, wrestling fans. And I've got my drink here, my Remarkable Wrestling Podcast cup ready to go. I got my Macho Man Randy Savage shirt ready to go. So we're going to have a great episode today because I would say the best women's wrestler of all time. I would say the best. If I sit there and I think about, I'm 42, and so my viewing goes back, almost 40 years, maybe 35. And if I think about some of the greats, I think about, Sensational Sherri's up there. I think China, as influential as she is, but I think this one right here is one of the most influential wrestlers, women's wrestlers ever that I've seen. And so I want to bring her on. And Molly Holly, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. That's so nice that you think I'm a good wrestler. So thanks.
Listen, that's what I'm saying. Like, you have Sherri. I think Sensational Sherri was phenomenal. In whatever role they put her in. China, of course.
So with Sherri, when I was a kid, there was a season where she was called Scary Sherri, and I was just terrified of her. And then later in WCW, I actually got to wrestle her. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
All right. So wait, before we get too much further, I'm a big Sherri mark. Tell me about Sensational Sherri when you wrestled her.
Yeah. So she was, I felt like she was just like visiting. Either we were in the town, the show was in the town that she lived at, or she just came by. But they asked if we wanted to be in a match together, and I was like, oh my gosh, that would be amazing. And so we did wrestle. And I was super intimidated. Like, obviously you watch someone when you're a kid, and then all of a sudden you get to wrestle them, and I was super nervous. But she was super nice. Like, she was awesome.
Right. I can only imagine. She was so great in everything that she did. Whether she was a wrestler, whether she was, Macho Man's valet or $1 Million Man's valet, just, or even, Shawn Michaels, she was always a classic in what she did. So, but Molly Holly, I'm so excited to have you on. We talked a little bit yesterday on the phone, and I told you, obviously, what a huge Macho Man Randy Savage mark I am. Like, huge. All right. So back in the 80s, I was a typical 80s kid, single parent, latchkey kid, only child, so all my friends were, wrestling tapes, wrestling VHS tapes, and Macho Man Randy Savage was number one. He was just so incredible. And I know you've had an opportunity to work with, the Macho Man Randy Savage in WCW. Can you tell us, a story about the Macho Man Randy Savage?
Yeah, well, when I was a kid, I hated Macho Man because I loved Ricky Steamboat. Like, Ricky Steamboat was my favorite. So when we were feuding, I just not a fan of Macho Man. But obviously, he's still like a huge star. So fast forward to when I am on the indie scene in Tampa area, and I was, I had two jobs. I worked at Subway making sandwiches, and then I was also a telemarketer. But he left a voicemail on my answering machine asking if I would meet up with him and Gorgeous George, Stephanie, to see if we would if I could help her learn some wrestling moves. And I saved that voicemail, and I like could not believe, I must have played it 100 times. Like, oh my gosh, Macho Man's like real everyday voice is just like, 'cause I always wondered, like, is that his real voice or is he just like doing that for show? But to have his raspy, gravelly voice like on my voicemail it was just, or my, what do you call it, tape recording machine. It's like different now, you know, now it's all digital. It was like a tape. And so that was just awesome. But as far as like, I know that you had wanted like a story, and it's more of just like little things about him that were kind of unique. Like one of the things was that he hated waiting at the airport. So this was pre 9/11, and you used to be able to just like meet people at the gate, you know, like right when they come off the plane, there'd like be people that you know, or you could walk someone right to the plane. Well, he wanted the timing so that he could go right from his car or whatever was taxi or whatever we were doing, right onto the plane. So I would get there just like to help him make his dreams come true. I would get to the airport early, and then I would call him if anything was delayed. And if I called him and said there's a 10-minute delay, he'd be like, "Oh, you're a gem!" Like, yes, like I don't have to sit in the airport for 10 more minutes. And so it kind of like became our thing. We're like, yay, I'm gonna make Macho Man happy by doing my role of telling him exactly when the plane's gonna leave. But yeah, he would just whoop straight right in. And then just like working with him in general, you know, he's very high intensity, very much perfectionist. And when Gorgeous George was going to be wrestling Charles Robinson, we did rehearsals and practices. I mean, I felt like 8 hours a day for at least a week. And when that match got done and it went off without a hitch, I had never seen Macho Man so happy in all the time that I knew him. I mean, he was just so proud of Stephanie and proud of Charles and like all these people who like aren't typically wrestlers that put in the work, did the good job. And then because they're kind of like representing him and Team Macho and so, or Team Madness. And so it was just really awesome to see him show us how to work at his level and then have it pay off and see him be really proud of us. So that was like one of my favorite moments with him.
And like I said before, fans will be occasionally popping up with comments, and there you see Christopher Reed. He says, "Thank you for your hard work to the business, Molly. Much respect for your work."
Oh, thanks, Christopher. Thank you.
And that's kind of a common thread amongst wrestling fans is just how much they respect you for your work and for what you've done. You know, I mean, you know, some ladies obviously were pushed purely because of I'm just gonna say looks, right? I mean, they were just basically models. But you took the craft so seriously and took it to another level. That's why I say at the beginning, I put you on the same pedestal as those women's wrestlers that were, you know, all-time greats, because you devoted yourself to this craft.
Well, when you don't have long legs like a supermodel, you do have to, you know, try harder to do a Northern Light suplex or some other type of, you know, so part of it is that when I first started wrestling, there was Sable, you know, like there were people that really like their physique was so unique and so spectacular that they would definitely be on posters. And since I wasn't a bodybuilder and I wasn't a model, it was like, man, I still want to be a part of this. And so that is really why my main focus was, okay, how can I be really good at the moves so that I can draw fans in with the, you know, technical aspect.
I do have a picture I want to show you real quick. There you are with
I was just a kid.
Yeah, with Medusa and Stephanie, Gorgeous George, who RCW, we brought her down a couple times in the Macho Man, Randy Savage. Here's just the girls by themselves.
Oh yeah.
So
I was just a kid. I must have been like 21 years old in that picture, I think.
Oh wow. And I mean, there's another great one, Medusa. I mean, Medusa was another classic women's wrestler that did it all.
Right. Oh yeah, and Medusa is like, not just a good professional wrestler, like she is like a legit badass, like in real life. She's really a tough, a tough gal you don't want to mess with, you know? So yeah, she's definitely the total package of being an excellent entertainer and also being like legit badass.
Giovanni did ask, of all the ring names you used, do you have a favorite?
I don't know. I guess I liked Molly Holly, even though it was like kind of cheesy. It's like an easy one to chant. And then I didn't really. I mean, I guess like Mighty Molly, yeah. So I guess just I didn't get to choose many of the names that I had, but the I liked being called Molly. That works for me.
All right, and then yeah, there was Mighty Molly, and there's the conservative Molly Holly. That was the one I liked. I thought that
Yeah.
was fantastic. So, and I did want to bring up one other thing because talking about Hall of Fame women's wrestlers, and then we'll get into our collectibles. But you inducted Ivory, correct, into the
Yes.
Hall of Fame, and,
Yeah.
and so my question is, when are you going to be in the WWE Hall of Fame?
I don't know if I ever will be. I mean, if I am, of course, that would be awesome. But if not, that's okay too. It really has flattered me just other women that have been inducted, that they've like mentioned me as far as being an influence in their career, being a part of their career. To me, that's like even better than being in the Hall of Fame. So yeah, if it happens, cool. If not, that's okay too.
Yeah, I mean, you did have a great return at the Rumble. I think the women's Rumble two years ago, I believe it was, or
So in January of 19, no,
okay,
this year. Oh my gosh, was it this year?
no, kind of been this
I
year.
swear the last time that I was on television was in January of this year.
Oh my gosh, and you might be right.
I
It
think
seems
it
so
is.
long ago.
Actually, I know it must be because I actually got an injury in that match, and my shoulder still hurts, and so I thought I've been telling like my chiropractor stuff is like, yeah, gosh, it's been 9 months and my shoulder still hurts. So yeah, it must have been in January.
Yeah, and I think you're definitely right because we brought you in to San Antonio for an autograph signing a little bit before that. I mean, a little.
Oh yes, it was right before that because then I felt I don't even think I knew at that time that I was going to be in the Rumble. I think they gave me like 6 days notice. So I think I was in San Antonio just doing the thing, and then I just noticed you saw a picture of me at the Alamo.
Yep.
Yeah, so I had very, very short notice, which I feel like is part of the reason why I got injured is because I did not have time to prepare. And like someone who's really into their show business stuff, like they would always be prepared, always be ready. I am not. Like wrestling has very little to do with my everyday life. Like I'll do autograph signings, but as far as like actual wrestling, I don't really do that anymore. And so yeah, I had 6 days to prepare for that. But yeah, that was in January.
Just a couple more fans adding on. I agree, Brandon. Her induction to the Hall of Fame is long overdue. That's from Don
Thanks,
Alding.
Don. Thanks.
Molly was one of my favorite women wrestlers, along with Ivory and Lita. Truly a fantastic roster at that time. And you nailed it when you mentioned she was an actual worker in the ring. Giovanni said, "You look great doing your signature move off the top rope in the Rumble."
Thank you.
And yeah, 2020 has seemed like such a long year because,
right?
because of everything. But yeah, it was this year. Someone did ask, who would you like to face for one more match? And that's a good question.
So the idea of wrestling makes me cringe. So it's not like I really love to wrestle. I really would love to never wrestle again. I know that it's possible I will, considering that May and Moolah were doing it in their 80s. Like it's possible if I get the call, I will be wrestling in the future. But I don't. Does it have to be a woman wrestler? Because I was like, can I wrestle someone like Harvey Whippleman or Gilbert or something? Like, I just really like the comedy. Like I want fans to be entertained, but I don't want them to expect a lot out of me as far as the flipping and twisting and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I would like to wrestle someone that has like a comedic aspect to their gimmick. That would be awesome. But as far as like, if I were to take the 25-year-old me and match it up with someone, Beth Phoenix, and then Charlotte Flair. I mean, there's definitely girls of all the girls today are like amazing. They're like so far beyond what I ever was, even in my prime. But I would say I'd probably like to wrestle Beth Phoenix. I had worked with her when she was like trying out, but we never actually had a singles match together on TV.
Nice. Look at that. The Holly family to the Hall of Fame. That would be a good induction if it was you and Bob Holly and Crash Holly. I think that'd be pretty cool. Someone did ask, and I kind of had in the back of my mind the head shave.
Yeah,
what was your reaction to that?
That was amazing. In fact, if it was a normal hairstyle for girls, I would have it right now. Like, this is as close as I can get to reliving my shaved head days, but I loved it. It was the most carefree, maintenance-free hairdo. Yeah, it was great. So I know that we did it, of course, for shock value and so the fans would remember it, but for me, I was looking forward to it.
It's a lot easier to manage. It's a lot cooler.
Much easier. Yep.
Yeah. All right. So Molly Holly, you've had a tremendous career. I mean, a lot of the fans and I have already touched upon it. This show is all about collectibles and memorabilia. As you can see in my wall, this guitar behind me is the one that Jeff Jarrett smashed over my head. I was like, well, I'm gonna keep the guitar that Jeff Jarrett smashed.
When Jeff Jarrett smashed a guitar over my head in WCW, the crew they brought me the broken guitar, and they're like, do you want this? And I was like, no, I don't think so. And then fast forward, I'm like, why didn't I keep that? That would be so cool. So that's great that you have one. I should have kept mine.
So do you have some items you want to show us from your outstanding career that you've held on to?
Well, I only have one item that's of my career, and I'll show that one last. But I have two other ones that I thought maybe fans would think was cool or would like. I mean, anyway, these are three that I thought most people don't have or would be excited about. So this is a two-piece item under the same theme, and that is that superstar Billy Graham signed an autograph for me. But also, in addition to this, for those of you that do not know, he is also an artist, and he made this picture. It is a buffalo with a rustic wood frame, and it says on here, "To Nora, God bless you, your friend, superstar Billy Graham." And so I thought it was awesome to not only be able to get a signature with him and his wrestling, get up and get that like a fan would get an autograph, but then to also get a piece of art that he made, that's something I definitely treasure.
That's outstanding.
Do I go right into the next one?
Yeah, let's take a look.
Okay, so the next one is this ECW action figure of Nova, and I cherish it because I know it's kind of hard to read, but I'll read it to you. It says, "To Nora, take good care of me, and please don't sell me on eBay. Love, Mike." So, well, I guess I'll just be keeping it then.
Yeah, I know. That can definitely, be annoying sometimes.
No, we're still friends, and I just before I was on the show, I texted a picture of it. I was like, I'm going to mention your thing in my podcast, or in your on your show. So.
And the superstar Billy Graham one, that was outstanding. I mean, to have that and the painting is just, I mean, how cool is that?
Mm-hmm.
I never knew that superstar Billy Graham was that strong of an artist. I mean, it's beautiful. So, I too have some collectibles. This is the original Macho Man Randy Savage bandana back in 1988. Wow. I had the Macho Man autograph it right there. And then, of course, it wouldn't be complete without a WWF magazine being signed. So I had to get it when he was the Macho King, because that was always one of my favorites.
Oh, so, that's awesome.
The Macho Man, Macho King Randy Savage. So I've actually met him a couple times. First time was in Sacramento when we lived there. We got the Royal Rumble there, and I guess he was doing a meet and greet to promote the '93 Royal Rumble. And it was one of those WWF ones where they they herd you like cattle and they push you through. So I
So,
don't have very much remembrance of that.
right. So whenever I would be in those situations, the assistants, the ones that are supposed to be shoving the people through, they hated working with me because I would hold up the line, and I didn't want to sit behind the desk. I wanted to stand up and I want to put my hand on each person's shoulder or shake hands. Like I wanted to be real interactive, like come here. So I tried. So even though less people got through, I wanted to make sure that each person had eye contact. I asked them their name. I'm able to touch them. So yeah, but I do know the pressure on the wrestler to get the people through the line. Like it's terrible, but.
Yeah, and that's what I thought was so great when we had you sign autographs here, earlier this year, and you took your time with each fan. It was very nice to see, and people still talk about it. They want me to bring you back down soon. So
That's nice.
as soon as the pandemic is over and things can go back to normal, I haven't run any events since the pandemic started. But once we get back to normal, hopefully, if there is a normal,
Yeah.
I would love to bring you back down again. I mean, what did you think about the San Antonio fans?
Oh, they were great. Yeah, everyone was super nice. They're super passionate. Like, yeah, I had a great time in San Antonio.
Yeah, it's a great city, But I was going to say the other time I met Macho Man, I actually lived in Tampa in the mid '90s for a little bit, and so as a young man, a young wrestling fanatic, I was going around to all these like wrestling schools because I figured out that they all live there.
True. So that was late '90s. A lot of people lived in Tampa.
So I would stop by Malenko's wrestling school, and I know Bushwhackers had their wrestling school for a little bit, and so on and so forth. But I ran into the Macho Man a couple other times, actually at a Gold's Gym once. So I got to have a more authentic, experience with the Macho Man rather than the WWF one where they just kind of crank you through the machine.
Right.
And yeah, you're right. I was like, does he really talk like that? And he was like, yeah, I'll sign this for you. Took a picture, it's super cool. But yeah, I figured out in Tampa, everybody lived there in like the mid '90s. It was
true.
crazy.
Like I'd go to Gold's Gym and I'd run into Greg Valentine, or like you mentioned, the Bushwhackers, or who was it's one of Hulk Hogan's friends, Brutus Barber.
Yeah.
There's tons of the Brian Knobs. Yeah, tons of people lived in Tampa.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so Molly Holly, I like to play games here on our Remarkable Wrestling podcast. And so last episode, I got Coco Beware to sing a duet with me for his theme song, which was that was really cool. And so I shot some ideas by Molly Holly, and so we landed on an old school game of Pictionary, right?
Yeah, I like Pictionary. I like it. It's one of my favorite games. That and charades. I like both of those.
But yeah, so we're gonna play just a small game of Pictionary. I'm gonna see real quick if I could bring the time. Okay, yes, I could bring the timer up there. I just want to see if I can minimize it real quick. Okay, might have to just leave the timer up there. All right, so we have 30 seconds to draw each one. We each prepared kind of like what we were going to draw. And so who wants to go first? Molly, do you want to go first? Do you want me to guess?
Are you showing, just because you've minimized your screen, I don't think I wouldn't be able to read what the thing is, but you can go first.
Oh, okay. So I guess first.
Whatever works for you. Either way is okay with me.
I'm a little nervous. You draw first.
Okay. I can do that. Now, are you giving me the word to draw?
No, you're going to come up with it on your own.
Okay, I've got one.
Maybe write it on a sheet of paper and just show the fans. And I'll look away. Just tell me when to look back up.
Okay, I got to write it down here.
All right, no problem.
Okay, now you can look away. Looking away. Okay.
All right, am I able to look again?
Yes, you can look again.
All right. All right, so I'm going to start the timer. Let's see, 30 seconds. And let's go. Camel Man. I don't know. Oh, Snake Man. Mick Foley. Mick Foley. The Sacco. The Sacco. Did I get it? The Sacco? Did I get it right? The Sacco?
Mr. Sacco.
All
Yeah.
right. Well, then I'll just say I get half a point since I got half the name. I did get the Mister. All right, so let me see. Let me grab a pen and a paper real quick here. All right, so Molly, you turn away for just a second,
Okay.
and then I'm going to show the fans what I'm going to draw. All right, Molly, go ahead and turn back around.
Okay.
And I'm going to start the clock right now. Hold on.
Well, I have to be able to see the paper.
I think you'll get it based upon this.
You'll have to hold it closer. The print's too small. I see a triangle and 2 circles with something in the middle.
Let's see. Hold on. Let me add this part.
I see some eyeglasses.
Yes.
Some tape in the middle.
Yes.
I already lost 30 seconds.
That was supposed to be a spike. Spike Dudley.
Spike Dudley, my old boyfriend. Oh, that was a good one.
Yes.
Sorry, I didn't know it was a spike. I thought it was a piece of pizza.
Yeah, I know. I'm not a great artist, but that's what makes the game fun, though, because it's supposed to be people that aren't great artists. But real quick, any Spike Dudley memories?
Well, I just loved working with him because it's awkward for me to have like a TV romance or be put in a situation where like, oh, guess what? You two are together all the time now and you might have to smooch on screen. And it's like, like definitely not anything that I would look forward to. However, Spike was so respectful. Like he was all business. He wanted to make sure that I was okay with all the stuff that we were doing. And so he was just a perfect person to have as a TV boyfriend.
Awesome. All right, so I'll get this will be the final one. It's all or nothing. It's all or nothing.
Okay.
All right, so I will guess, and Molly Holly, you will draw. Let me. I'm going to.
Oh wait, I have to come up with another word all of a sudden. Okay, hold on.
Oh, okay.
I did not. I didn't think ahead on that, but let me think of a.
Or I got one. I got a word if you want, and I'll draw it.
Well, okay.
All right. All right.
Guess? Okay.
Yes, you'll be the guest. Okay. All right. So Molly Holly, real quick, just turn away.
Okay.
All right. And just in case you can turn back around, and just in case I'm I'm a terrible drawer. Yeah, I'm gonna give you a hint. It's a wrestling move. Okay.
Move. Okay.
Yes. So, okay. All right. Here we go. I'm gonna set the clock, and it's going.
Hammerlock.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good one. That was good.
All right, good. Well, I thought it would help, but yeah, I need to work on my drawing. I'm not a good drawer, but I'm a great wrestling fan. So, Molly Holly, this has been an absolute blast having you on. I know the fans have really enjoyed seeing you today. And do you have any final comments before, jumping off?
Just thanks for having me. This has been really nice to be able to connect. I know it's not in person, but it's still really great. So thank you everyone for tuning in, and have a great fall. All
right. Thank you very much, Molly. We'll see you around. Thank you. All right. So that was Molly Holly. It's truly, like I said at the beginning of this broadcast, one of the all-time greats in women's wrestling, and one that has such a storied career, such a great career. I do like, Chris says, one of my biggest wrestling crushes ever. That's pretty funny. Yeah, I mean, it was great to see Molly Holly, Super Molly. Yeah, I'm just reading some of these comments. Oh, Giovanni put, thank you, Starla Saxton. All right, there you go. Eric Burns says, I am not a great drawer too. And Giovanni says, awesome podcast, boom, boom. Well, thank you very much. And that's the goal. I want to get us to where, we interact with our stars, even for just a few minutes, to just kind of, and not do a biography like you were born in and, all that other stuff. Who broke you in, blah, blah, blah. But just something really simple and really fun to do. And someone says that they're not a good drawer. Yeah, man, I need to go to art school. Or I need to have my daughter or my wife draw for me because I am terrible at Pictionary. So yes, indeed, fans, thank you so much for watching this afternoon. And thank you so much for being here for Molly Holly and checking out all the great wrestling collectibles we have. Macho Man Randy Savage and unbelievable memories that man has provided, as well as Molly Holly. And so with that, we will go ahead and close this one out. I do want to remind fans that 2 weeks from today, we will have Shelly Martinez on, who we've actually brought down RCW quite a few times, of course, because of LAX. But we will have Shelly Martinez on in a couple weeks. And, we'll have some more fun and games here on the Remarkable Wrestling Podcast. Again, thank you so much for joining in. And I tell you what, we're going to see you next time on the Remarkable Wrestling Podcast. And hello everyone. It's time for another edition of Remarkable Wrestling Podcast. If you're watching, say hello. Eventually, I do want to film a really cool intro for Remarkable Wrestling Podcast, 1980 style. It's like, hey. We're going to be talking about all the collectibles and all the stuff that makes us professional wrestling. This is such good. Look at that little that WWE fan club. Ultimate Warrior wristband. It's like, you like wrestling? I was like, hell yeah, dude. It was Lumberjack Jim, made up wrestler. Think Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Just Lumberjack.
Did you use a backbreaker in a fight at Grando's?
He runs a promotion for lunch break. That what cracks me up. The Remarkable Wrestling Podcast. What the world is watching.